Hi folks, we're ready with our steam vacuum hose, and now we want to show you the actual production piece that's available for purchase to act as somewhat of a carpet extractor. So first we want to show you the piece itself. We'll do some demonstration videos and other videos so you can see the tool in action, but I just want to explain how we did this. Now, there are other companies out there that have combination steamer vacuums where the steamer and the vacuum are all in one unit. I've never really liked those because what we're doing is we're robbing power from each machine. You're making the steamer a little less effective, you're making the vacuum a little less effective. It becomes a more complicated steamer and it becomes much more expensive. So I've never really loved those machines. They're out there, they're available, some of them are pretty good, but we wanted to go the route of a separate steam vacuum hose, and that's what we've done. So here, the way this hose is molded, this fatter piece is the vacuum part of the hose, and this is your steam hose with the wire running through it. And then at the very end, we break off where your vacuum hose ends, and this needs to be connected to your vacuum, which we'll explain in a minute. And this connects into the mouth of the steamer. Now, all of our machines, this is going to work. This connection is the same on all our steamers, and the mouth of all our steamers are the same. So whether you buy a 75, a 100, or a 125 machine, this is going to work on all of them. So, and even if you've previously purchased one of our machines even a long time ago, it's still going to work. We haven't changed any connections, so if you buy this now and you have a 2-year-old machine, it's still going to work. So now let's go back to the gun. We've tried to make it as lightweight as possible. It's still a 2-piece handle, so if you do run it over, if you do break it, it's going to be serviceable. This is your steam trigger switch, similar to where the steam trigger is on your regular steamer. And for our 125 customers, on your 125 hose, your injection button is on the back, and we've put the injection button on the back of this machine as well. Now, if you have a 75 or a 100 machine, this button's not going to operate in steam mode, and of course, because you don't have injection, it's not going to operate at all, so you would just focus on the steam trigger, and that's going to allow steam to escape. Now, to put your vacuum tool on, it comes in 2 separate pieces. The hose and the gun are one piece, and then the transparent suction tool is another piece. Now, part of the reason why it took us so long to work on this wasn't so hard to figure out, but again, getting our injection switch was a little difficult, which I wanted the injection switch for the people that buy the 125 machine. Believe it or not, this was a little bit troublesome, where we wanted to have this piece right here, the nozzle, a certain length away from the carpet. And without getting into what happened in the trial and error and the research that we put into this, we had this a little closer to the carpet, we had it farther away from the carpet. There were pros and cons of everything, but we've worked it out to where this is about the right length, so when you put it down to a seat or a floor mat or a piece of carpeting, it's going to work really, really well. Now, because this is piping, we don't want to touch it. Obviously, that's going to be hot. As any steamer, you don't want to touch anything that's metal. To put this together, and again, we would suggest that you put this together before you start blowing steam. It's going to go easy onto your suction and onto the nipple part of the hose like this. But to put it on, and Alex, come a little bit closer to focus on this because this is important. This piece right here on the suction tool swivels. This is your lock-in. So to get it on, we have to have it all the way open like that. So when we put it on, it slides all the way on. But right now, it's not locked in. If you started your steam right now, it would blow it right off. So we need to lock it, and to lock it, all we do is do that. We lock it in place, and now we can't pull it off. So now we have a complete setup. So this is all done. This is a complete setup, our gun, our suction tool, and when you're ready to request steam, you would pull the trigger. And as you're working, you want to have a decent amount of pressure. Now, we don't want to crush this too much. We don't want to break it. It shouldn't break, but you don't want to lean on it and put all your weight on it because that's not necessary. What you want to do is you want to create the suction on your surface. So you're going to need to put the vacuum tool at a certain angle so you get the most amount of suction through your slot right here. And you'll figure that out once you start to use it. And as you use it, you will see the dirt travel up through the suction part of your vacuum hose and into your wet dry vac or into your existing extractor or whatever vacuum that you choose to use. And we'll show you in demonstration videos the correct way to use this and whether you want to use it in steam or injection mode, but now it's set up to use. Now you have to connect your vacuum part of the hose. Now, obviously on any of our machines, we don't have a vacuum. We've chosen not to do a vacuum. We've chosen not to have a vacuum port on our machines because that would change the machinery used to make the machines. So what we've done is we've simply left the open end of the vacuum hose right here. Now, this is a pretty standard size hose, and it's a European standard. Now, we couldn't change that. But what I found is a lot of vacuum hoses, other than the big fat shop vac vacuum hoses, this works well. When you have a rubber end, this would be your own vacuum hose. So this is a vacuum hose that I've had for a while that was off a car wash vacuum, and it works well, and that's a pretty standard size. I think it's about 1.25 inches. So you're going to take the steam vacuum hose, and basically you can screw it, you can press fit it. All you want to do is get it into your vacuum hose that will plug into your vacuum to create suction. Now, there are adapters out there if you want to take a very small hose and made it to a bigger hose, but obviously our hose is going to stay the same. We don't provide you with an adapter. If you need an adapter, you're going to have to find one out there. Some people might duct tape it together. But with the most part, if you just kind of screw it in or press fit it in, you're going to get enough suction to where you're not going to lose suction here. And it's as simple as just connecting it to your vacuum hose. This would be your vacuum hose, and you plug it into your vacuum. Now, when you're ready to go, you need to turn both machines on, and this machine would be on already, and you would just activate your steam with the red trigger here. If you have a 125 injection and you want an injection feature, you would click the button back here that would activate your injection. And you would, of course, turn your own vacuum on. Now, what you want to realize in operating two machines at once on one circuit, what we have to be careful of is not blowing the circuit breaker. So in a separate video, we'll discuss the pros and cons. And again, there's pros and cons of everything. We'll discuss the pros and cons of having one of these. So we'll stop this video here and we'll go into another video discussing electricity and blowing circuit breakers and what the benefits are to the steam vacuum hose, and we'll continue that in part 2.